from the Major Label Debut Podcast Network, this is your MLD News. I'm Graham Wright, and joining me today to go to the sports desk, is producer John Paul Bullock. John Paul, how did you enjoy the big game?
I did not watch it live, Graham. I'm going to be honest with you. I was in my car.
What were you doing on Sunday? Not watching the Seattle Seahawks and the New England Patriots engage in a pitched, low-scoring defensive showdown.
I drove back from a wedding in Phoenix. That's what I did, which was a beautiful wedding, and I'm very happy to have been a part of that. And my heart was full of love as I crossed the desert and did not think about the Super Bowl until I arrived back home to check the internet and saw the Super Bowl was happened.
That's right. We're talking about the Super Bowl halftime show on today's MLD News. This is the Super Bowl halftime show the single highest profile moment of music in American culture anymore? Surely it's more viewed
world
than like
culture.
The Grammys. World culture, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not just, I mean, in that, yeah, definitely. I mean, it's the performance that's viewed by the most people around the world of anything, right?
Yeah, it has to be.
Mm-hmm.
And this year it was, of course, the great Puerto Rican artist Bad Bunny. Now, Bad Bunny is not the kind of artist that we typically discuss and cover on Major Label Debut. There was nary an electric guitar to be seen, although we should note that friends of the show, Green Day, performed to open it, which I guess you missed. So just real quick, let me recap. They had a pre-show package where they showed this like photo booth in different cities in America. I think probably Seattle and San Francisco and New England, Boston, whatever. Anyway, and people were talking about their Super Bowl memories, and you realized that underneath, that's the beautiful string arrangement of Good Riddance, Time of Your Life by Green Day. And then they wheeled the photo booth out onto the field at Candlestick Park in Santa Clara, or whatever it's called now, and out of it came the Super Bowl MVPs of recent years. So Touchdown Tom Brady was there. Both Manning brothers were there. Old Joe Montana came cruising out. He looks great. And then the camera panned over and Billy Joe Armstrong sang just the last line of Time of Your Life. And then they went into a brief, perfunctory Green Day performance, which, well, that's a whole other conversation. Seeing, one-time true counterculture icons Green Day doing American Idiot 5 minutes before a U.S. Air Force flyover took place was semiotically rich. Look,
First of all, Green Day were never counterculture icons. Let's not do this.
You don't think that like in the 90s when they were scaring parents singing about masturbating on the radio, they represented like a genuinely like seeming threat, in terms of rock and roll bands? I don't mean that they were like the Weather Underground.
No, like in comparison to Twisted Sister or whatever. No, like
really?
It's the same thing. No, I really truly do not. But I'm not here to talk trash about Green Day. Although I was disappointed that there was not even sort of like a signaling of any kind of political statement. Something subtle, like it just was. It really did seem like those folks did not want to be there. They were there for the check, there for the exposure, which it's funny. Like, I'm not sure how much more exposure. I mean, like we said, it's the most viewed thing. So it's like if people ask you to do it, you're going to do it and you're going to, and also one thing I did like is I have a complicated history with Green Day. I'll be honest. Like I didn't get it or enjoy it when it was originally happening. Yeah. And I have come to enjoy it over time. And I saw them recently, at a football-related event. They did like a live show at, I think it was an Amazon NFL event that was here in L.A. And that was the first time I'd actually seen them. And they played the hits and like 20 songs that I knew every word to. And it was great. And it was the three of them on stage. But then all those backing musicians were behind kind of screens or whatever. At least in this one, I was glad to see the additional guitar players and whoever was playing keyboard or whatever on stage with them. And it didn't seem, it was, they were playing to track and whatever. It didn't seem super phony and bad. I just was kind of hoping that there'd be one kind of moment of it. And I had read the way I consumed both of these halftime or not the Super Bowl performances, the pre-show Green Day and the halftime Bad Bunny, was on a cell phone in my bed at 6 a.m. yesterday morning. And I was happy with both of them, but I was disappointed that there was no, I mean, I heard that the Green Day had been more political in the lead up to this, that they had played a bunch of other, but look, it's a corporate gig, man. You're a musician who's done plenty of those, and you show up, you do the thing you're asked to do, you get the check, and you get out the door, right?
And I'm sure that the NFL brass, whoever's in charge of that booking, made contractually explicit to Green Day that there would be no subtle or otherwise signaling of any political virtues one way or the other before they booked them. And it's just amazing that this band has not just a song but a concept album called American Idiot, and they can perform a song called American Idiot at the Super Bowl, and it just is like completely politically neutral. To be able to sap that entire statement of all political valence is impressive in and of itself, and is maybe it's like the flattening effect of the mass culture of the Super Bowl. But then again, the Bad Bunny halftime show was preordained as a political statement, sort of regardless of its content. And I don't really want to talk about it through the political angle. I don't think that's...
Well, just to go back to the American Idiot of it for a minute, the good thing about that American Idiot, or the brilliant thing about American Idiot, is to each their own idiot, right? So it's like that, depending on your worldview, lots of different people can be idiots. So it's like, it is a kind of neutral political statement that activates a network in your brain and a kind of, I don't know, like not haughtiness, but like a feeling of superiority over whoever you view as an idiot, right? So it's like, it is, and I know recently that they've changed some of the lyrics to that song in live performances, and that they did not include that verse in this performance. But I don't know, man. I on one hand, I don't blame these guys for. There's no such thing as selling out. They're getting paid, and they're getting exposure beyond whatever they already had global reach, right? It's just a reminder to stream or buy their records or go see them next time they tour, and for Bad Bunny, who's firmly established as a global icon as well. I understand why you do this. The stark contrast between the two performances was astounding to me. I would say, without a doubt, the Bad Bunny halftime show was the single best Super Bowl halftime show from a production standpoint, from like a memorable moments standpoint, and a storytelling progression that I've ever seen. I thought it was amazing. Like, just why it just had this kind of linear series of surprises that worked perfectly. What did you think?
I loved it, and I didn't know a note of any Bad Bunny music before it started. I don't know, in Canada it probably has like less ubiquitous cultural penetration compared to the States. I don't hear it at the grocery store necessarily, but it was beautiful. I just thought it thrummed with a wonderful energy from start to finish. It was clear that it had something to say, and it was clearly said it, but it never felt didactic. It never felt rote or boring, or, certainly it never came close to seeming like preachy. It just seemed truthful and celebratory. And I mean, that kind of music is just like really fun to listen to and groove to, and it was great to watch. It hit with my whole family. The only thing, our only complaint, was at the very beginning. They're like, oh my God, all those like corn stalks are people. There's people dressed as corn stalks. And we spent the entire halftime show hyping ourselves up for when the corn was going to start dancing. And then it never did. So I guess they were just dressed up that way to get them on and off the field quickly. It's cheaper to use people in suits than put them on wheels, I suppose, or better for the turf, maybe. But that was my only complaint, was that the corn never danced. It felt like a real missed opportunity.
I loved the moment where he climbed up the telephone poles, and I loved the wedding moment. I loved all, and then also the kind of B side of it. We're doing research for this podcast, reading about, there's this woman in New York who had a social club restaurant that he had involvement with, and that sort of activating all these different elements of his life, and his pride in Puerto Rico, is his just incredible ability. I mean, the guy is obviously incredibly charismatic to the point of like, he's a movie star and a pop star and all the things, but
yeah,
it's like, and so you just watch him do anything for 15 minutes, but he was doing it all. I mean, running and singing and dancing and working the other performers up into, like, you could really feel how excited he was when he spiked that football at the end, that he was like, I did this and it went exactly the way we planned it, and I am so happy, and now I can leave.
Yeah. Just imagine doing that. I not, in terms of the past, I remember watching like the Tom Petty halftime show, which was amazing. I remember really vividly watching the Who halftime show, I think with you, at a bar in LA when we were there making Champ years ago. And it seems exciting enough to, like, roll out onto with your guitars and basically play a gig, which is what it used to be. But now,
which is what Green Day did.
Yeah, the sheer the production of it, like having to walk through that choreography, the dances. I mean, the number of marks that he had to hit perfectly, and while also engaging with the camera and engaging with the people around him and maintaining like what seemed to be a very relaxed demeanor, is that's like really high level showmanship and just really solid work.
I mean, he's at the top of his game, performing on the biggest stage in the world, and totally crushed it. Like I have a really hard time finding any problems with it. There's not anything that, other than the fact that you wanted those tree people to dance, or the grass people, or
the corn people.
Yeah, or they're like sugar cane. Is that what they were?
Maybe that was it. I'm no horticulturalist.
I do think that is that's the version of that I think of as Children of the Corn, the Stephen King. It's like Malachi. It was great, totally great, and all the fake politics stuff, it's just exists to distract us from the other larger problems. And
it was almost refreshing that just to have like a pure culture war issue that has no actual meaning and will impact nothing. It's just like, yeah, there's like a little bit of red meat over here for the angry dads to like grumblingly turn on their laptop and watch a live stream of Kid Rock panting for breath.
Well, I couldn't watch that or contribute anything financially to it, but I did watch a stream of a comedian watching it. So I was like, I'll give money to is Pat Finnerty, who's like a Philly-based musician and comedian and streamer, does these great kind of takedown videos of awful music, and it was oh man, like just shameful track, and and also from a production standpoint, just the most, like, it is that thing where we can agree that every part of that was less than this, also equally complicated corporate bad thing. And I know that you have a better relationship with professional football than I do, so I'm not going to yuck your yum, but I'm going to say I was so happy for this guy, so happy to consume that 16 minutes of whatever it was on the online YouTube video. Less happy for Green Day, but
that's just career maintenance stuff for them. That's like when you're a band of that stature and you've been that successful for so long, there's just like things you are obliged to do to maintain where you're at. And it's like, it's strange to see a band like Green Day maybe in that position, but also they've been making records for 4 decades.
Yeah. I mean, and Bay Area, they're like, it makes sense with they're kings of the Bay Area. And they have amazing hits that so many people know, and it totally makes sense. It was a great idea. And I don't know. I mean, maybe I don't want politics in my football or whatever, but still, it did seem kind of on brand for me, for them to play this kind of faux confrontational, faux political music in this moment.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like I don't know. It's like, obviously there are big bad things happening here right now, and I don't know. I mean, this is
the New England Patriots are back in the Super Bowl already.
Well, I mean, were they?
Well, that's a great point. They were certainly on the field for long portions of the game.
How much money did you lose on FanDuel? Do you have what are your gambling options in Canada?
I think we have many of the same ones. I see a lot of FanDuel commercials. In my family, we did a 20, Yahoo Sports 20 questions gambling sheet, which I came in last. My wife won, and her son, who has never watched a game of football before, came in a close second, and I was far behind. So I watched every game this season.
Did you watch the commercials? And what were the commercials like in Canada?
So,
were there a bunch of
this may interest our American listeners. In Canada, anytime you watch an American broadcast, even though we saw Chris and Mike Tirico, we get the broadcast the same, the commercials, we cut in Canadian commercials. So sometimes if an American company remembers to buy Canadian ad time during the Super Bowl as well, we'll see. So we saw the Instacart commercial with Ben Stiller. We saw the truly upsetting Jurassic Park thing, but from the sounds of the texts I was getting from people watching American feeds, there was the theme of this year was like AI slop, which hopefully means it's going to go pets.com direction shortly.
I hope so too. Man, the gambling stuff too. It's like, why is this this is the showcase of American talent, and then we're like just garbage AI companies and predatory gambling companies, and that's it. That's what we have. What's what we're offering these days, or ads that look similar for medication or whatever.
I wish I could do a best of the Super Bowl commercials rundown, but I have no. I thought the Ben Stiller one was pretty funny. It was a good stunt. Needed like one more joke or something to really get it over the edge for me, but I chuckled.
I'm pro Ben Stiller in general,
but I don't know if I'm pro Benson Boone, who I think was the other guy in that commercial.
Oh, I did not know that, but I don't know. I don't know enough about Benson Boone.
He does flips and has a strong singing voice.
I've seen the flips. The flips are impressive.
Absolutely. I can't do a flip.
I mean, Billy Joe can't do a flip.
That's true.
Is out there not, I mean.
I feel like Bad Bunny could.
Maybe he could, but he didn't need to. Honestly, like that was the kind of power and force, not only of his performance, but of the direction and artistic choices that went into all the costume and the choreography. It was, just so well done. And I love the Kendrick thing from last year, but this was much better. I mean, inarguably better from a production standpoint, from a performance standpoint, from there was just way more going on for all these moments. I think that was just truly understanding also how to engage with the social elements of it all. Just give people Easter egg after Easter egg after Easter egg. It's like
also less of a tough beat for the city of Toronto this year at the Super Bowl halftime show, which I appreciate.
This is very true. This is very true. Well, when you get your football team, and then you know, Toronto legend Drake is one of the investors in it, and he owns it. And then the first Super Bowl that happens in Toronto, I guess he'll get his revenge. Will he ever get his revenge?
I don't think so.
I'm not. Yeah, it's that's a whole nother discussion. There's a lot going on that front here too. That I was thinking like we could kind of start touching on that stuff, but I think maybe it's best saved for another time.
A future MLD news will contain that and more. I guess final question.
Yes.
Are there any guitar bands left that could credibly play a Super Bowl halftime show that would appeal to almost as many people as Bad Bunny?
Green Day? I don't think so. As Bad Bunny? No.
As Bad Bunny. I mean, like halftime show, it's been obviously years since they had a rock band play, and it seems like it may never happen again. And I'm just curious if there's anyone left out there that they could sneak in, any great Bob Dylan.
I mean, look, I think this is gonna maybe bring up a whole nother thing, but Coldplay has already done this, right? Like they played the Super Bowl 5 years ago,
I think
during
longer,
the COVID era.
Yeah, it was before COVID. It was like,
yeah,
I don't remember. It was 16, 17, something like that.
Do you consider Coldplay a guitar band?
That does bring up a whole other thing. Yeah, I mean, they got a guitar player, and he's always playing guitar. They don't have Johnny Greenwood up there inventing new modular synthesis techniques. It's like you don't hear the guitar every time, but he's always playing it.
I'm not sure there is. I mean, like especially from an album sales perspective, I'd be curious if Green Day is the biggest of those bands for the last 30 years.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't think there is really. It's interesting. Maybe this is the end of that as a possibility too, or if they'll always now have a kind of older. I mean, to be honest, that Green Day thing was like, here's something for old people. Let's start.
It felt like that.
Yeah.
It was very arresting. And I was like, this is for me. But then it honestly wasn't that much. I like the halftime show much better. So
yeah, totally. I don't know. Yeah.
If they have it in Detroit, you could have Jack White curate some kind of a salute to the history of rock and roll guitars in America halftime show and use that as the finale of rock and roll at the Super Bowl.
He would be great. He's probably, I mean, Seven Nation Army is that song now, right? It's like, it's played probably at every professional NFL game every year all day long, so it's like, I don't know, maybe he is the last guitar hero.
I think that's how he's positioning himself anyway.
Well, I mean, it might be, he might have that, the rights to do that. No, look, at the end of the day, I'm super happy for everybody involved. I'm glad that both teams, I hope both teams had fun out there. I think
one team had fun out there. Well, there you go. That's sports.
I'm focused on the curling is what I'm focused on right now. Olympic curling.
Yeah, not a lot of music performance involved in the Olympics that I can see. The opening ceremony didn't have, sometimes
Mariah
you get
Carey.
like a gig
Volare.
going on, but
You got Mariah Carey singing Volare, very slow,
right.
Slow burn Volare.
Well, Mariah can do whatever she wants.
Yeah, I mean, she's a bigger star than both Bad Bunny and Green Day combined, so.
Yep.
Yeah.
And she'll be joining us next on Major Label Debut.
Please, Mariah.
Mariah, please, anytime. Open invitation. I'm sure her people are monitoring this pod feed, waiting for that invitation. John Paul, thank you so much for joining me to break down the weekend sports and sports adjacent entertainment.
Thank you for having me, Graham. And also, we should go ahead and say, I think, before the end of this, that the next one of these will be our first record club, right?
Yes.
Where we're going to talk about dry cleaning. So if you haven't bought the dry cleaning record yet, or you haven't streamed it or whatever, go buy a copy and consume it somehow so you can join in the fun and talk with us. Maybe we'll ask for people to submit questions in the lead up to it, or to post their thoughts on our social media, and then we can respond to those.
Yeah.
Very excited to discuss that with you on the next news episode.
Likewise. So stay tuned for that. Thank you for listening to MLD News. Enjoy, your February. Enjoy your Valentine's. Valentine's is coming up. Don't forget to order your flowers and chocolates for your sweeties. Romance. We're all about it. Speaking of romance, I love John Paul Bullock and Josh Hook, who produced this podcast. I have a crush on Greg Alsop, who made the music for it.
Hi, Greg.
And I love myself. My name is Graham Wright. This has been your MLD News. But of course, Major Label Debut will return for more tales and news and sports from the intersection of art and commerce. See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.